So on the way here, Ava, we were passing one of the bigger studios, and we honked to give our support for the strike that's going on. And on our way, like, we were passing it, and then someone gets out of his car in his costume, and you go, oh, look, it's Captain America. And it was quite obviously Thor. I thought it was quite funny.
Is Captain America Marvel? It is. And so is Thor.
Mm-hmm.
So, actually, I wasn't that far off. I made you laugh. Yeah, no.
Yeah, but this strike, we did hear a few days ago or sometime recently that it's like kind of maybe wrapping up. I don't know much about
the writers, maybe.
They've been negotiating.
They're in talks.
They're in talks, so that's hopeful.
They are in talks. You know, that too, it's like National Solidarity Day was recently. And yeah, that it was cool to see at Disney how there was so many people out supporting and striking, and that's such a great thing to see.
And last month too, there was at the studio near our house, they did this big event of trying to get the construction down, and thousands of people went. It was insane.
25,000 people signed that petition.
That's crazy.
They actually have been pushing back construction to start when the strike was going to start, which is actually ridiculous. But it's the kind of world we're living in.
Yeah, and I mean the strike for your mental health. How you doing, Ava Jean?
I'm hanging on by a thread.
You know.
I had a full-on mental breakdown yesterday.
I know, and I left the apartment during said mental breakdown.
You know, what can I say? Look, it's starting to get to me, which is like kind of sucky. But I woke up this morning feeling like a star, so it was fine.
Well, good.
Speaking of the strike and our careers, we have Grant Crocker here today.
Oh, yes, we do.
Which is amazing. He's a casting director and an actor. And so he's really probably feeling it during the strike, and we're going to get to talk to him all about that.
And you've run into him a couple of times in passing.
Well, like, it's funny. We met, like, on social media, on TikTok. I started commenting on his casting videos because I was like, this is so helpful. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Agree. And
you have a parasocial relationship is what I've heard.
Yeah.
Is the term.
I have no idea what that means, but okay. And then one day I ran into him. I was on my way to Paper Source, and I think he was going into Starbucks. Aww. And so I ran into him there on Ventura. And then I ran into him at a premiere. Yeah.
And premiere. Oh,
yeah. And then I ran into him again at the Starbucks. So we're like friends now.
Oh, besties. That's so fun.
Yeah.
Cool. And we'll talk to him about all of his casting and his acting.
Yeah.
Things I'm really excited to hear about.
It's going to be fun. I'm sorry. Hold for sound.
Oh, speed?
Let's roll.
And Grant is here, and we're wearing the same outfit.
I love it.
Matching twins. That's okay. Didn't plan it.
Well, I think in the email it said something about personal style, so, like, this is great.
We love it. We love to see it.
Matching styles.
Yeah.
How have you been?
I'm okay. Like you guys were saying about the strike, it's just rough. Like every day, I'm just trying to find a gig. I'm trying to find some crappy job just to make a buck these days.
Yeah.
But I'm good. You know, I've been hanging out with friends a lot more lately, which, you know, like while I was working full time wasn't happening. But now I'm like, every day I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, come over now. So, because there's so much time. Like, I just have free time. Yeah. So, it's nice. So, I'm doing good.
Yeah, I think it's funny because, like, in a way, we complain when we're busy. And then when there's nothing, it's like,
losing our mind.
What do we do? Like, literally, what do we do? There were 4 days where I had nothing to do, and Lauren can attest to this. I sat on the couch and watched TV for like 8 hours each one of those days.
She
watched Judge Judy.
Good for you.
What can I say? I'm a law girl.
There was a time, too, when we first moved out here when Ava wasn't in school and I was working, and Ava just sat on our little coffee table and learned ASL. She knit.
My name is Ava. It's nice to meet you.
It's finding those hobbies, and now that we're like actually not really allowed to work, I'm sure. Do you have any hobbies that's keeping you busy?
Not really. I play a lot of video games. I love board games. I love just hanging out with friends. I do a lot of like every day, even if I'm not working, like I go to a Starbucks or I just sit on my computer for at least like 2 to 5 hours and, you know, do my social media grind, get some work, send some emails. So work is kind of my hobby. I just always have to be doing something or I feel kind of useless.
Yes.
Yeah.
We
So-
can relate to that
We
so
can
hard.
attest
I know
Yeah.
I try to give myself like the weekends fully off. Like I will shut off my phone. I won't reply to DMs. I won't respond to emails because I'm just
Healthy
I know because
mindset.
Monday through
Good on
Friday I'm
you.
grinding, so I'm like I need
We
myself.
gotta do that. We should really just.
Yeah,
start
we
doing
should really make time off for us. We don't do that. It's funny.
It's worth it. It's so nice to just disconnect.
Yeah, well, I think it's funny too because it's like where we are in our careers right now. I will find myself at 11 p.m. sending emails.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait,
I'm like, I gotta schedule it for when will they wake up tomorrow?
when
And
did
so-
this happen
Yeah.
that we are like doing that?
Exactly.
But yeah, it's interesting. And you have been grinding on social media. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so I have a little bit of a following, which is nice because like with the following, you get more opportunities. So lately, I just got a partnership with Backstage.
Yes.
No way. That's
yeah,
so fun.
they reached out to me, so that's been really nice because it's just an extra income, and also it just like feels good that someone wants to partner like that. And then lately, I've been kind of diving into the UGC like content and marketing for companies, social media marketing, and that's now I'm making as much right now than I was working full time. So it's been definitely something I've started to go into. I don't like doing it though. I don't like making social medias. I don't like making TikToks. I'd rather
we
just
are
sit in my
such
whole
the
We are
world.
very similar people in that manner. Because it's true. It's like we've been fighting ourselves with that. It's just a matter of like, how do you find balance? You have to do social media, but you don't want to be an influencer, but it's really complicated. And so we're at the in-between as well. But yeah, oh my gosh, Backstage is great. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, I mean, at this point with social media, I'm like, putting yourself out there and having people see you and your name and what you're doing is only positive. Obviously, there's going to be trolls and like people that are mean and like all of that. But like just yesterday, a producer reached out to me and was like, "Hey, our casting director fell through. Would you maybe want to interview for this?"
Wow.
And she only knows me from my videos, and she's like, "I've seen your stuff. I know you know your shit. Sorry if I can't
yeah,
cry."
and
And now I have a possible job, and it's a recurring job throughout all of their productions. So
and
it's
your
like
stuff comes up on my For You page all the time.
We see you like constantly.
my
We're like,
God.
there's Grant.
I hate that. I hate that. But you know, I'm on that grind. Like I'm in that TikTok creator program that it's like,
See, I
for-
was there for a second,
it's
and
like-
then they like shadow banned my account, and so I
Oh.
left.
yeah. See, I was on the regular one, and now it's like you get $1 per 1,000 views, and so but the video has to be over a minute long.
Yes, that I did see that update.
And I hate that because like I just sit there and have to talk and
You're like, what do you
really
say?
just drag things on. And I'm
Yeah.
like, but you know, it's a check, so I don't care. People can watch it. People can see me just talk nonsense, and I don't care at this point.
Yeah.
I remember
They can go
just
past the
scroll.
video.
Yeah, if they want to. Yeah.
I know.
Well, it's funny because there was this one point, and I'm sure you like saw my span of videos during this time where it's like day one of trying to get famous on TikTok. I was like, did that for 10 days, and I was like, I can't do this. Like,
I really like those videos though. Because it shows commitment. It shows commitment. You're able to see your career, show people what you're doing,
Yeah.
and not be afraid to put yourself out there. And a lot of people aren't doing that.
yeah,
So it's
true.
like good for you.
Yeah,
truly.
for this.
Yeah, that's why we're doing this. It's like this journey. It's not like come to Hollywood and like live your life and you're amazing all the time. It's like come to Hollywood and grind. Go to Starbucks for 6 hours a day and send tens of thousands of emails and see if one person responds.
And I think too, like, how do you feel about being on a screen that many hours a day? I know for me recently, it's been hard, and I've been like, I feel like I'm not living. I feel like my life is on my
You
screen.
know, this weekend I actually like had a call to moment because I was laying in my bed and my phone was across the room, and I was like, I don't need it. I don't need my phone. And then not even a minute went past, and I'm like, where's my phone? And I was like reaching for it, and I was like, I have a problem. Like, I have to get rid of this. So I deal that. I mean, I'm on my computer, I'm on my phone, I'm on my work phone. Like, I'm constantly on a screen, and that I hate it. It sucks, and it's just taxing. And I'm a writer. I like to write. That's my goal.
Awesome.
And so, you know, I spend 10 hours on a computer on my phone working, and then I have to go back on my computer and be creative. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted. I would
Yeah.
rather just go lay in bed,
Yeah.
honestly.
No.
That's me with social media too, because I work as a social media manager for a few different things, and it's like work is now like TikTok for me, and I never thought I'd ever say that, and now it's like people scroll on TikTok for like leisure, and I'm like, I can't do it. That's work.
That's where I'm at right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But maybe like in a way that's a good thing because we're creating and we're not scrolling.
True.
Okay, so with your writing, you went to college for screenwriting?
I did.
Okay, yeah, at Webster.
Yeah, I graduated 2020, and when I was choosing to go to college, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew I didn't want to do like a traditional job. I didn't want to be like a nurse. I didn't want to be an engineer.
Not the 9 to 5.
Yeah, I was like, that's not the life for me.
Mm-hmm.
And during school growing up, I never had theater. I never had arts. I went to a school. I graduated with 60 people in the whole school, in my high school. So very small. I didn't have a lot of any extracurriculars. And so when I was in high school, I just started watching TV. And I fell in love with just storytelling. And like I was getting attached to these characters, and I want to write those characters.
Wow.
And so when I decided to go to college, I was like, I could go for acting. I could go for something like that. But screenwriting, I thought as if like it was a medium that I could be on the production side, be on the acting side, but also just be in the middle where I kind of just have an idea of what a story is and learn to create a story. Because I feel like once you know how to write stories, you kind of have an idea how to do everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I kind of just set on that, and I graduated in 3 years and then moved out here and haven't worked as a writer yet.
One of those things too where it's like, I feel like that like leads into like making your own projects. And we've been talking about that recently, like this is like our own project that we're making, but it's like that's what people like tell you to do. So it's like constantly writing, constantly figuring it out.
I mean, the first thing I heard in acting class when like if you start from day one, have no reel, they're like, just make your own thing, go write a script with your friend and your phone camera. And it's like, sure, but also like making quality work, it takes time and effort and money. And
but that is so interesting too. So like what kind of genre?
Yeah, I'm so interested. Have you written like short
what do you
films?
write?
Do you write features?
I write a lot of pilots.
Okay.
I love TV.
Okay.
I've always dreamed of being in TV, but now actually working on a TV show like in production versus features, I love working on movies.
Right.
And that's so nice. It's so nice. But also like working on a TV show, it's such a good like it's a job for 8 months.
And it's routine.
It's like,
yeah, that's so interesting. There is like a lot of differentiation between the two.
There is, but yeah, back to your question. I love sci-fi. I love drama. I love and I'm kind of okay with comedy. I love horror. I wrote a horror feature, which I really like.
Okay.
So I'm working on like editing that more, but it's been through like 20 drafts at this point, which is like, when do you let go? But
you don't.
But my goal is to make something either later this year or early next year. I really just want to make something. It's funny, I'm on this podcast because I've been working on a fiction podcast.
Have you really?
I've been writing it, and it's like an ensemble podcast. It's 8 people. It's set on an island.
I'm obsessed with that idea.
It's really fun, and I've had so much fun creating the characters and the world and writing for them. So it's just something I've been working on because, everyone wants to make a movie or a series, but it's kind of hard without any connections or no money. So I was like, what can I do to at least create? And a podcast fiction series came up. I don't know if you guys know Alyssa McKay. Alyssa McKay.
She just did she did one. Just
yes,
recently.
she's the lead on Royals in Malibu, which is a fiction podcast, and it's #1 Spotify, #1 Apple. Like, it's been doing numbers, and I love her. I think she's so great. So I might pitch my show to her.
No, I would do it. She seems so sweet. She's commented on a couple of my TikToks.
She's so sweet. Yeah, we've talked quite a few times, and we follow each other, and she's like honestly an inspiration. She's in her bag too.
Yeah.
Like, she knows how to work social media, and I'm trying to be like her.
Yeah, no, same.
At this point, I'm trying to get like a social media manager or like a manager over my digital life, just to get me into events, get me sponsorships, get me partnerships.
Yeah.
I've pitched to a few managers at this point, but I'm like, at this point, I'm someone, I came here with no connections. I still don't have a lot of connections in this world. So it's like, like those people with a lot of following, they just don't know what to do. So it's always great. I mean, actors, they get agents and managers for a reason.
Yeah.
So like a digital creator should get an agent or a manager to help them.
I think so. And I think going to those like parties and the premieres and things like that, there is huge benefits to meeting people that are either your age or in the same like niche of industry that you're in. And it's like great because those people, I don't know, they become your friends. Crazy. So you're from Missouri.
I'm from Missouri. Born and raised.
What is in Missouri?
Yeah.
Nothing. I'm from a town called Farmington, Missouri. It's very small.
Nice.
I just say I'm from St. Louis because it's easier. But I went to college in St. Louis. There's nothing. Like Farmington, there's farmland. And other people, like sometimes like I would go on a drive, maybe. I'd go to get frozen custard.
Sounds like you don't do anything in your little small town.
Yeah, like Domino's was a big hit to me. Burger King.
Domino's. You like Domino's?
I am taking a cleanse from Domino's.
We have the same problem. I like the thin crust pizza.
Oh, that's gross. I'm so sorry for you.
What do you like?
Oh my god.
I just like a good hand-tossed cheese pizza. But it got to a point, like, when I was probably like 13, 14, I lived up the street from Domino's. Got to a point I was eating it like 1, 2, 3 times a week. And
She'd eat it for breakfast?
I did that for 8 years. And I'm finally like over it. I can't do it anymore.
That's so
I can't.
funny.
It would just mess me up. My stomach would hurt. I would feel bad.
Yeah.
And now I'm clean. I went clean, December? I called myself like clean from Domino's. I stopped eating it like
that's too
December, and I
good.
feel great these days.
Good.
So I
Health
blame it
is
on Domino's.
thriving.
I blame it on Domino's. But Little Caesars.
There was a Little Caesars in my hometown too.
Oh, yes. I grew up
Yes.
on Little Caesars.
What about those like little cookie? They had like little cookie crackers that you would get with your
Yes,
You know
I
what I'm
haven't
talking
had those in
about?
so long.
like cinnamon.
Yes.
Oh,
And I love
those
their
are so
breadsticks.
good. Yeah.
I'm just thinking about food now.
This is a bit of a food podcast.
Good luck.
No, that's so funny. So yeah, Missouri, California. How was that transition?
Oh. So I was studying abroad in Austria, in Europe, in 2020. It was
Oh,
yeah.
gosh.
Yep.
Oh wait.
I went in January, had the best 2.5 months of my life,
No.
and then I was in Ireland, and that's when they got the orders to like everyone must return, and it was very scary. I didn't get to come home for like 2 weeks after that because everything was booked, and Austria was like locked down. You couldn't even leave your house, and so it was just like a really weird time. And then I came home, quarantined for at that time it was like 2 weeks, so I was just in my bed, and while I was just doing that, I was like, you know what, I just don't want this life anymore. You know, I came back and it's still the same. I'm tired of it. So I booked an Airbnb in Orange County because I had no idea it was so far from LA.
yeah.
And
Relatable.
I lived in Orange County in someone's front yard in a trailer. It was literally a trailer. I lived there for 2 months. And that was my beginning in California. And it was so different. I love living in Orange County, though, because it's very different from LA.
Yes. Oh, for
And it was nice to just get into the area, kind of like soft my landing into California, because I moved out of here with no one. I think you're kind of
Very
similar
Mm-hmm.
in the fact that I came out here, I drove here, I didn't talk to anyone for months. Like months and months. I maybe talked to a cashier at like Ralph's. Like my closest friend for probably 3 months was a Walmart cashier. I'm not even joking. I truly did not have friends when I moved here. And yeah, so coming out here with no connections, no one to know, it was hard.
And that was 2020?
2020. And yeah, I think I moved here September 1st, 2020. So it's nearing 3 years.
We like have the same life. Yeah, because we
Yeah,
moved around the September
2022.
2022. Yeah.
But
the same
I
time.
came out here initially February 2022. Stayed in an Airbnb for 2 months with my mom, and
It's
I
the
was
best move.
16. And it's just like, yeah, it's like it gets you acclimated. But I remember I was down in. I wasn't in Westwood. I was like on
You were
Wilshire.
in La Brea, no?
No, I was on like Wilshire
Oh, okay.
Boulevard, but like further.
East?
Yeah,
West?
west.
Right and left?
And I remember being like scared of LA. When you're booking Airbnbs, you have no idea. And I like, there were so many little situations when I first moved. And now I'm like in Studio City. I'm like, oh, this is nice.
I love Studio City. It's funny. Actually, I don't want to mention where you live, but I toured where you lived.
Yeah.
I almost
No
lived there.
way.
That was my second option, me and my roommate.
So how'd you hook up with your roommate then?
We met in Vienna. We met studying abroad, actually.
What?
And so I moved here. I lived in another place. Roommates went bad. Then I got my other place. Roommate went bad.
Oh, no.
And so then I was like, I was living on my own in a 2-bedroom, 2-bath for a year.
No.
So like I was spending money. I was dying. I was every money. Thank God I got my job by then. But yeah, it sucked. And so then she was moving out here. She works at NBC. And so she had a job lined up, and it kind of just worked out. We just got a
Wow.
really nice little townhouse. So nice. I got a little kitty these days.
Oh,
I love life.
Yeah, what's thinking
really
about moving into a townhouse?
Yeah, we've been.
It's
we've
nice.
Been
I love the
hunting.
separation between like the living room and upstairs,
Yep,
and it's
that's
just
exactly
like
what
it's
we
very
were looking
nice.
for. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's really impressive that you went from not knowing a soul to just like this great like resume and working, and that's like really, really awesome.
I know it's kind of weird. Like now I have like my closest friends here, which is really
That's
weird
so-
because
yeah.
like, you know, you have your friends back home and then you move and you start a new life, and it's like, wow, I'm really like in a new life now.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
this
truly,
is home now.
This
like,
is home. Like I
yeah.
don't go home hardly. And
Mhm.
when I go back to visit, it's like miserable. So I love it here. I don't want to leave hardly.
I really do understand that. I mean, I think too, because we come from small towns, it's one of those things where it's like there's almost like a lack of understanding where we're from, and so sometimes when you go back and you have this new experience that's in an industry that is not common where you live or where you're from, you don't know how to talk to the same people that you grew up with anymore. You just like, it's very hard, you know?
It's like, hey, how are you? And they're like, oh, I'm just doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, any update, anything.
Yeah, it's the constant like tiptoeing around, like trying to figure it out. But yeah, no, that's crazy. It takes so much courage to move out here.
It does. Anyone that says they just moved out here, I'm like, wow, because it was hard for me.
Mhm.
I remember like on my drive, I drove out here just crying. And then I got here and I was like, I'm going back. I'm not doing this. And then I was like, you know, I did pay for this Airbnb for 2 months, so I will stay.
That's crazy.
And then in those 2 months, I was like, I'm good. Like,
so what was like the first step of like you were in your Airbnb, and then what was like the okay, I think I
gonna
can make it
stay,
here. I'm
yeah.
gonna stay. Like this can happen for me.
honestly, time heals all. And like, I think just a month went by, and you know, I was still talking to my friends through FaceTime. I was still fine. The hardest part for me was leaving my dogs. That was my hardest part. Like, they were my family to me. So really, time just like fixed it, because then I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. There's a beach. There's a lot of things to do.
There is a
I
beach.
have no complaints. And like, if I would go back home, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Like, I was working at a grocery store in a produce section before I moved here to make money. Am I going to go do that again?
Wow.
I could, but do I want to? I just stuck it out here, honestly.
And that's funny that you say that, because I've been having conversations with my parents recently, and they're like, well, you're on strike. Like, why don't you come back for a month or 2 months? And that idea scares me. Like, I don't know if I could. I like literally uprooted my entire life just last year, and I planted it in this like new space, and I'm trying to let like this little tree, this little plant grow. And it's like, if I uproot it again, I feel like my life would just, I would have no idea what to do.
To physically go back home, it's like you're kind of just putting yourself in the mindset of like, okay, this is like done
Not
for
hap-
right
or-
now.
Yeah, it's not happening right now. But I think also there is benefits of going back home. I think like
Free food.
free food,
Free food.
that is a huge one. Laundry sometimes.
Laundry.
That's a nice one. You know who hasn't done their laundry in a couple weeks?
This girl over here.
Me.
Do you guys have laundry in your unit?
We do.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, then no
broken.
excuse. Oh, excuse.
Sort of broken.
No, there's no excuse. Like, it's really bad. I went on a trip like a month ago.
This girl has so many clothes.
What can I say?
You don't make sense.
I am like Cher with a closet. You know what I'm talking about? Cher.
Clueless?
That's me.
It's good to have clothes. You have something for everything.
Yeah, I do. And I literally do.
So how did you get this job now as a casting director? How'd that happen?
Really random. So when I was in college, I kind of manifested this for myself.
Ooh.
You know, I took a master class, and it was literally a master class in casting. And it was with casting director Deborah Berlinski. I hope I'm saying her last name right. And she won an Emmy for Arrested Development. And so I took a 3-day.
That's a sitcom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to watch that.
Uh-huh.
I took like a 3-day master class with her in person, and she kind of just opened my eyes to like the job and the possibility. Before that, I never even thought of casting as a job. Yeah. And so then I got out here and I started like, you know, I reached out to her and tried some things. Nothing worked. And I was like, oh, maybe I don't want to do it. And I saw a casting call, like a background casting call for this 1920s movie. And I was like, I don't know what this is. It looks sketchy. Let me just like apply to go, because it was an in-person casting call. And so I applied. And then when I did that, I was like, who posted this? And it was Sandy Alisi, Los Angeles. And so I liked the page. And like, like a day later, I saw she posted, like, I'm looking for an assistant.
Wow.
And so I wrote up the best cover letter of my life
Yeah.
in like 15 minutes and sent it. 30 minutes later, she called me, said she wanted me to come in the morning.
Wow.
And that was the day of the open casting call. So I went in, I met the team, and she's like, do you want to stay around and work the open casting call? I was so in shock because at this point, I'd never done anything. Like, I did a couple, like, jobs on set, but nothing big or no jobs like this. And so I just stepped right in and was like an intern, kind of, an assistant. And every day, the movie ended up being Babylon by Damien Chazelle, Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie.
Okay. Wait. That was the project?
That was the project.
Your first project.
Way.
That was my first project. And I wasn't on the team. And I kind of just really made myself useful. I was always asking to be included. I always just stuck up for myself. And I always was very efficient with my work. And after a month, they were like, okay, let's bring you on fully and like get you on the crew. Let's do it. Cause we were still 2 months into pre-production at that point.
Wow.
So yeah, my first movie was Babylon, and it was a nightmare, but like in the best way possible, in the best way.
That's incredible. Like, what a story.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It
I always
is.
say like the easy things are meant to be, and that just seemed like all the stars
just
aligned.
lined up.
A month after that initial interview, I was at Paramount Studios with Damien Chazelle, sitting in his office, setting up while he wasn't there, and then meeting with him for 3 hours. I was confused, to say the very least.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, I feel like each one of us has had moments like that where it's just like, no way this life is real.
Yeah.
And that's what keeps us out here. People are always like, I don't understand, like, you're not like on a huge hit TV show right now. How are you out there? And it's moments like that that just remind you, like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
And that's why
It's so
I wanted to
exciting.
create this podcast, because it's like, though, like, truly, like, there are those, like, kind of, not that I made it moments, but it's like, I'm doing it.
I'm doing it.
I'm doing what I want to do. And I'm okay with that. And it's just, I love that.
Yeah, it's actually insane.
Yeah.
So you were just in a really big project, and I don't know if we can talk about it, but
There's a lot of pink going on in the project.
Lots of pink.
how was that experience seeing yourself on a screen?
Oh my
like that?
God, it's been so weird. So I hate saying this, but I got on it because I knew someone.
Sure.
And that's just kind of like, I'm
That's
not a
what- no,
Nepo
but-
baby. And I didn't know what the role was going to be. I just showed up to set. It was reshoots for the movie, 3 days of shooting. And I guess it's out, so I can talk about this. But I just got there, and I thought I was going to just be a background, like not much. I just was excited to be on set. And, I went to my fitting, and then I went to set over on Venice Beach, and just put me right in front of the camera.
Wow.
And they're like, okay, laugh at the camera. And I was like, what? Why? But obviously I didn't question
Obviously,
it.
if you've seen it.
And it was kind of surreal because at that point, a crowd started forming around a shooting.
I've heard her talk about that in interviews.
Wow.
And so like it was pretty cool to like all of the people, and then we would go to action and just shoot this sequence. But it was really cool. Like, I didn't expect it to be used in the trailer. It's in the
Yeah.
movie. It's in a Karol G music video. It's been all over the place. Like, that little clip of me. And I've had so many people back home, just random people on the internet. Like,
Wow.
it's been really weird because
That's
to
so
me,
cool.
I'm like, oh, it's really cool, but it's half a second.
Right.
Sure.
Like, come on, people.
That's what I would think.
You
I would
did
be
not.
like,
there's no way you recognized me. Let's be real.
That's crazy. It's such an amazing experience, and like getting to be involved and just have that moment where like you're sitting in a theater seeing yourself. It's like a glimpse into your
and
future.
even being on set,
It's
like,
so weird.
I love set. Like, I just love set.
I love set. But the reason I got into casting and kind of why I kind of like it is because I don't have to be on set.
Yeah.
I can go, but I don't have to go those 5,
not-
6 in the mornings till 12, 1 a.m.
Yep.
I'm not doing that.
Very valid.
And which is very nice. I'll do it, obviously, for like a project I want to work on.
Yep.
Right. For when you're
But-
like in, but
yeah, like I prefer not to. I like to sit at home, but like when I'm at home working and I'm actively on a project, I'm working from 6 in the morning till like midnight, 1 a.m. But it's at like
Yeah.
the expense of my time. So
Yep.
I can, go grocery shopping. I
Yep.
can do things like, and it's nice, but
yeah.
I don't even know what I was talking about.
Yeah, we're talking about
Everything.
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 Yeah.
everywhere.
Okay, that's just wild. Do you think your platform doing social media has been like affecting your work, like creating more opportunities, but does it also make it hard to?
I don't think it's negatively helped, like been negative in any kind of way.
Yeah.
I think it's only helped me.
Mm-hmm.
It's really weird. I don't like it. Like, my boss followed me the other day on TikTok. I'm like,
You just, like,
stay off there. Like, now I gotta watch what I post.
Sure.
Like, really?
Yeah.
But really, I mean, I've met so many people. Like, I met you. I'm here because of my social media.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's true.
I meet people all the time. You know what's really weird? Being recognized from TikTok.
Well, the
No
first time I
way.
met you, like in person, I was like, Grant.
It's because you're so niche. So the people that
It's
watch
very
you
niche.
watch
They
you.
So
know
if
you.
I'm on a set, I'm getting recognized. Like, which is really weird because it's the actors and background actors that follow me.
Yep.
So I've been recognized like so many times.
That's
When I was shooting that on Venice, I had someone like waving in the crowd, calling out to me, and I was like, surely that's not for me. I'm like, I know. I was like, well, I was like, surely that's not me. Checked my DMs after, and this person's like, hey, either it's you or a doppelganger, but like, I was waving at you on Venice, like not sure, and I was like, that is
Wow.
wild.
Wow.
And like, so it's been weird. It makes me want to post though, because people are very sweet, and
Okay.
people won't even like. It's not like a thing that like people are like, oh my God, can I take a photo? It's like, hey, thank you for what you post.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it.
Yeah. And I mean, you're not like going like the influencer route. Like you're talking about your work.
I
and,
just
like,
try to
you're
be
making-
normal. I'm like,
Exactly.
yeah, I'm just talking about stuff I like, stuff I do.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
then, you know, I'm trying to get some brand deals. So
Yeah. Gotta get them
Gotta get them.
Do you find that it's hard to juggle your casting career with your acting career?
definitely have
And
less
writing
of,
too.
like, my goal is casting and writing.
Yeah.
Those are the things I want to focus on.
Okay.
The acting, I just kind of like, I'm not going to turn down an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I get a self-tape, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
You know, if I get a chance to be in a big movie, I'm going to take it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really find it that hard because I will never be an actor. Like a full-time actor, I know the grind. I know those self-tapes. I know the randomness. I know the amount of work it takes. So it's just not something I'm like,
Yeah.
because I'm such like, even making my TikTok videos, I have to stare at it over and over and I have to replay it and I have to cut it.
Yeah.
And like doing that multiple times to send to casting and directors and producers, I'm like, not for me, but I respect it. I
Yeah.
respect it.
It's
That's for
a
you.
lot. It's a lot. But I think too, like, that's so great that you know where you want to be in the industry.
Mhm.
I think that's something we all
Yeah.
struggle with, and I've struggled with it. I know you've struggled with it, and so to know that like you want to be casting and writing, that's like so admirable, and I think that's amazing because I feel like once you know, your journey can just like you have a path.
You can focus on it.
Yeah.
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 So we ask all of our guests the same question at the end, and it's just kind of like if you were to do it all over again, if somebody would want to take the same route and be a casting director or writer, kind of how you did it, what's one advice that you say go do, and what's something that you would kind of do differently?
Ooh, okay. Well, reach out to people.
Mm-hmm.
Always be putting yourself out there. I have a friend right now, he's emailing a lot of casting directors just on the daily, just for interning with them because he wants to intern with the casting office. And I think that's great. You're getting your name on radar, you're getting your resume on people's radar, and that's something I didn't do. When I moved out here, I never reached out to people. I kind of just, you know, I didn't know anything when I moved out here, so I like was on Indeed. I was like, this is the pinnacle of jobs. I've now realized like that's not the truth. There's jobs in so many places.
Right.
You have to really be everywhere. So that's something I would recommend to do. And something I wouldn't do. I don't know, be less cringy on social media. Like at first, because I went through and like deleted a lot of my videos. I went through
to do that so badly.
and archived a lot, and I was like, wow, I really posted this. And now I'm like, every time I post, I'm like, am I gonna regret this in 2 months? But now I'm like, who cares? Like, who cares? Like, truly, those videos are getting out there. One goes viral, your life could be changed.
Yep.
Exactly.
So who cares?
Yeah, that is such a good point because I think too, it's like when people are starting, one of the biggest things is being afraid to be seen. So I think it's like when starting, that's a really good note is just like do it.
Yeah.
You know, like it's okay. Like your art is original. You bring something to the table and it's great.
But it's also like I've noticed really good to be self-aware of like what you post and everything.
Yeah.
Because so I did this promo like a month ago. Sorry if we're running over.
No, we're not.
No, you're fine.
I did this promo like a month ago, and I will say I needed a haircut. I needed a haircut. This is just funny. And so my hair was like kind of bigger, like kind of more like a little, looked like a fro almost. Like it was pretty big, and it was a promo. So when stuff is promoted, it's going out to random people. Like it's going all over. And I got a comment, and it said, "Bros cosplaying Ice Spice." It took me so bad. I've never been so humbled. And I was,
Did you like run to the hair salon?
I immediately got a haircut. I deleted the comment, and I have been telling people about it because it was really original and funny. But it did humble me and made me be like, wow, I really should like really take a look at how I look before I post videos, especially ones that are sponsored. I know, bros cosplaying.
Okay.
I can't.
So if people wanted to find you then on social media, where can they find you?
You can follow me on Instagram, Grant Landon Crocker, how it sounds, or TikTok, Grant Crocker, GrantCrocker.
Yay! Great.
Yay!
Crocker.
We like so appreciate.
Awesome.
Thank you guys for having me. This is so cool.
It was so cool to get to know your story. Like,
Of course.
I loved it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's a wrap.
That's alright. Yeah.